I've got a bunch of multi-tools I want to cover today. I've got one I will unbox, several that I want to talk about, that I want to share with you guys, and then some multi-tools that aren't great, but hey, they work. So let's go ahead and cover all these. Let's jump into it. So I just got in this brand new multi-tool from Amazon. This is one that I posted and I said, hey, this is a tool that might be a replacement for this, which is the Roxxon Rhino, which is disappearing. So let's get this out. Wow, that looks a lot bigger. I have not even looked at this yet. This was marked down to around $7, $8, I think. But wow, this is a lot larger than I thought. All right, so this is a monster. This is, wow. Okay, well, my hunt for a miniature-sized multi-tool hammer, this is definitely not it. The Genetac, this is huge. Look at that saw. Wow, and it even locks into place. So this has the unlocking mechanism, very similar to some of the multi-tools we've reviewed. Oh, that's different. Locks in pretty good. Got about 5 inches on the one side, no metric there. Okay. Now the next tool is a can opener, wrench, set of wrenches, and a bottle opener. Okay. And then I can sort of see, I guess, why you would maybe want this hook, I guess, because you could use it like this to pull something. It's not a cutting hook. It's actually just a hook, like a tent stake puller, something like that. But maybe it makes the most sense in a scenario like this where you could actually use this to maybe pull like roots of a tree out of the ground. That's, I don't know, something like that, maybe. And then the knife. Now the knife doesn't look that great, and it will be a little bit weird to use that knife because you've got this hammer. Yeah, that is, wow, that is weird. Now up here, let's see what this is. Now this is a ferrule rod, okay, and then the whistle. That's different. I don't really think you need that, but I'm guessing they wanted like a camping hammer and they thought that would be a good idea. Then here at the end, you see how these are really wide. I think this is marketed as almost like a small shovel. So I could see how you could use those claws to remove stuff, maybe remove stones from under your sleeping bag, you know, smaller stones or so. They're buried, maybe something like that. And then pound tent stakes in. I'm guessing that's more what this is marketed. I don't think there's any more info in the box. And wow, that is a very cheap drawstring bag with no info there. Now, according to the Amazon listing, this is gift worthy, so that doesn't fill me with confidence. It says it's survival ready. It's versatile, it's compact, portable. I don't know how compact this is. To me, this looks about the same size as a full-size hammer. Yeah, you've just got some extra stuff in the handle. I don't know if I've ever seen a multi-tool full-size hammer before. That's unique. I did not realize how large that actually was. Now, I'm sure someone will find this useful, but unfortunately, I think for most people, I mean, this is the Roxxon Rhino. This is an off-brand, very cheap. I think I got this one for like $3 at a flea market. Yeah, this is the comparison, and this is ginormous. Usually when multi-tools are this big, a lot of people do not like them. Multi-tools in nature, usually you want them under 4.5 inches long, and this one, well, let's measure it. This one is actually 9.5 inches. Now I'm a little scared to weigh this, but let's go ahead and bring out the scales. All right, so we've got about 1 pound, 9 ounces. Move it over to grams, about 477 grams. Yeah, this right here is a very heavy tool. I don't regret buying it for around $8. I don't think that was a bad buy, but this is definitely something I think I would use more for hammering around the house, not even putting up pictures really. It might be a little too large for that, but yeah, maybe just some outdoor, like working on the garden and so forth. I think it's really too big, but what a fascinating concept. All right, so we've talked about the hammer. Then I also wanted to mention I got this tool off of eBay. Now, this is essentially a Kershaw A100, I believe, but it is a reproduction, I'm guessing. This has the Phillips driver, the can opener, the file. These tools do not look that bad. I don't feel like they look near as bad as some of the other ones that I have seen from Sheffield. And this right here is the screwdriver. Part of me, when I saw this, I almost thought it was the genuine Kershaw. But then I opened this up and it does say China stainless, and this knife is a little bit loose. So I think it is a copy, but I do realize it is missing this little bolt right here. I might try to go ahead and find something that works in there, but I really like these vice grip multi-tools. I find them really useful for even my modding projects. So I do try to pick these up anytime they come in, under $40 or so. I still think that's a pretty good buy for these, even if they're copies. So I was happy to find this, and it actually looks pretty nice, except it looks like someone got some spray paint and it does need this replaced. I think it did come in this pouch, which is another giveaway that it's probably just a cheap Chinese clone. So a little while ago, I talked about the parallel wrench from Decoyu, and this is definitely the nicest one that I have seen besides the Metmo version, but for around $50, this turned out really, really nice. Well, I had ordered one for around $14, and it came in the mail. It looked about the same in the pictures as this one, but you can obviously see there's pretty huge differences. Now, Matt from Matt's Multitools had already had a video about how horrible his was, so I expected pretty much nothing from mine. So I actually was pleasantly surprised that I think this is actually maybe useful. It's got some jaws here that I think will work. I'm guessing this section right here, maybe, or this right here, I probably could use as a 1/4 inch bit driver. I guess I'm going the wrong way. Here we go. Let's get this tightened up. Yeah, I think this, that would work as a 1/4 inch bit driver. I could use that just like this one. Now at the end, I don't have a lot of confidence that this right here will work. I mean, it's basically falling off almost, and this screw is not near as nice as this one. There are some huge differences. So for $14, you definitely are getting some pretty drastic compromises. There's no cutters. I don't even know what this cutout is for, but you do have a parallel wrench of sorts. So I thought I would go ahead and show that to you. I do actually sort of enjoy carrying this around just more like for a fidget toy. It's a little clunky, but hey, just for something to carry in your pocket for $14, I do think it could come in useful as a clamp. Maybe if you had a small project where you want to glue something together, something like that might be useful. But otherwise, I mean, this Decoyu is so much better. It just feels a lot better, but then it is a lot more expensive as well. I always feel a little bit embarrassed to review some of these tools, but some of them come in the mail and some of you may have these or have seen these in the past. I can't remember if I reviewed this on the channel or just did a short about this, but this is the True Utility Knife with the wrench set. I do not like this. Someone may find this useful. I do not. So I will probably be stashing that upstairs with all my tools that I don't use that much. This is one of, I mean, it seems like there's about, 300 of these multi-tools where there's a fork, a spoon, a knife. A lot of these come apart. I don't think this one does. This one right here, yes, it's just stainless steel. I think it's just a cheap Chinese one. I find that these basically always work for what you need them to, because a fork and a spoon, I mean, how can you go wrong with a fork and a spoon? Some are better than others. This one, I think is, yeah, there we go. This one comes apart, and so it might be easier to use, but I think both of these work pretty good. And I have seen some crazy expensive ones on Blade HQ for over $100, I think. One of the companies is trying to charge like $100, $150 for a multi-tool with a fork, a spoon, or a spork, something like that. I think that is way too expensive. If you go to your Walmart and just buy a Coleman, a cheap Ozark Trail, probably this will work fine. It'll be heavy, it'll be clunky. I think there's better options out there, but I think it will work for a picnic, for a trail eating beside the trail, all those things. I think it's fine. Now, I've mentioned this before, but this tool right here, the M2, I think is probably one of the best keychain multi-tools ever made. I really like this. I know not everyone agrees, but I think this is fantastic. This is probably one of the perfect tools to give your kids to start out with, because it just has the screwdriver, the Phillips, and the flat in the set of pliers. I think that's a really good start. Unfortunately, I gave my kids something with a blade and then I regretted it. It was a very small keychain multi-tool, but even that small blade, when you give it to boys, they always find a way to use it to destructive purposes. So I think this right here is probably a great way to start out. And it's a fantastic little tool to put on your keychain or to put in your pocket for those very small minimalist tasks. A lot of times you do need a screwdriver or a set of pliers. And then if you have a knife, this right here might be about all a lot of people need. So I wish they would come back out with something that was made a lot better like this. Now, there are some companies that make very cheap versions. The SwissTech, it is not near as good as this one right here. This is so much better. The tolerances are so much better, but unfortunately, this is no longer made. This would be my probably perfect keychain multi-tool. If you would ask me what's the perfect one, this right here.